Are Capcom employees being treated like Mappa employees? I mean, like, chained to the desk, can't go home, can't see their families, because how are they making so many Resident Evil games? It is ridiculously impressive. Now, over the past week, it was revealed that Resident Evil 1 is getting another remake, and yes, I said another because the quote-unquote HD remaster was a remake. I don't care what you say, it's not a remaster. Fuck off. So the Resident Evil 1 remake is targeting a 2026 release date, which makes so much sense because in 2026 it will make 30 years of RE. Absolutely incredible milestone for Capcom. They're going to go all out for Resident Evil that year. And I'm actually predicting that Resident Evil 1 is not the only Resident Evil remake that's going to come out that year. I believe Resident Evil 0 is actually going to be DLC alongside Resident Evil 1. But I'll probably make a separate video touching on that. But I just want to get into the details of the RE1 remake that was sent to BioDeclassified, which from what I was told is a very reliable source. But if you're not familiar with Resident Evil 1, you're kind of new to the Resident Evil scene. Resident Evil 1 is regarded as the best Resident Evil by many fans. If you ask a bunch of different fans, it's probably RE1, RE2, and RE4. Those are like the three biggest and most respected games out of the series. But what makes Resident Evil 1 so special is because it is a true survival horror game that us fans have been fiending for quite some time. Don't get me wrong, the action and everything is cool in these Resident Evil games, even if it's 50-50. But what I think Resident Evil is missing is a true 100% horror experience like RE1 was. Every bullet mattered, how you manage your inventory system mattered. Like, everything you did was pivotal. You can either make your gameplay smooth or a lot harder. But let's get into the details real quick. I'll do some ranting afterwards, but the working title for Resident Evil 1 remake is Biohazard RE1, so it seems like Capcom is emphasizing the Biohazard name this time around, which is fine by me. I thought Biohazard was always the better name than Resident Evil in my opinion, so I'm happy to see Biohazard getting some shine. Resident Evil 1 will be slower paced than RE2 remake. I think everybody fully would expect that because Resident Evil is a full-on survival horror game. Tight ass hallways, you're not knowing what's gonna come around the corner. You don't know if it's a zombie right there, a dog. You don't know what to expect. So it being slower paced is very good. I'm glad they're not stripping what made RE1 special. Capcom can really get crazy with this game. Each zombies will have their own unique model due to small number of enemies within the game. So I'm expecting greatness when it comes to these models because RE4 zombie models was fantastic, man. They had the jaw falling off. It was real grotesque looking. So I'm expecting in the next generation of gaming, the models to look even more disgusting. More bullets required to take out RE1 zombies than RE2 remake, quoted as bullet sponges. That makes a lot of sense because RE1 zombies was kind of bullet spongy, and even if you put them down, they weren't really dead. I mean, my god, the Crimson Heads were ridiculous. But what I loved about the RE2 remake zombies, they did not go down easy either. Even if you knock them down, if you walk past them, they'll grab your legs. So you really have to be careful about walking past them or putting them down. So I feel like they're going to make it at least 5 times harder to put down a zombie, which would make sense because back then, zombies were a lot hard to put down. Even in movies, you know, it was always aim for the head. And I cannot stress this enough. If you are going to be a new player to RE1, aim for the fucking head. You will thank me later. Crimson Heads will make a return. I think everybody expected that. You cannot take Crimson Heads out of RE1. Crimson Heads are absolutely terrifying. I will never forget my first encounter with a Crimson Head. When I played RE1, because I played it later than most people, I did not know how important it was to blow their heads off. I did not know, and I fully regret not doing so. It made my playthrough a living hell. I love Crimson Heads though. It's going to be absolutely terrifying. Crimson Heads are fast as hell. They can instant kill you. It's just a crazy thing to deal with. I can't wait to see how Capcom does their models and how they alter them in the next generation of gaming. RE lore will be explored further. I mean, that is fully expected as well. They did the same thing with the RE4 remake. I would love to see a little bit more Wesker on my screen as well. I will not ever be against more Wesker on my screen. A different third-person camera will be used, slower paced again. I wonder what they mean by that because the over-the-shoulder third-person camera is just iconic. It's the best looking camera in gaming in my opinion. So I wonder why they're not going to go that route. I mean, I guess all this is subject to change as well. It's not finalized. It's still 2 more years of development going on. But yeah, I wonder why right now they're not thinking about going over the shoulder. Now, I know a lot of people are surprised about Resident Evil 1 getting another remake. And me personally, I'm not really surprised. I have a lot of friends that just got into RE around the RE2 remake. and they do not enjoy the older Resident Evils. They don't like RE4 original because they don't like the stopping and to shoot and everything. And RE1, they don't like the camera angle and everything. And I know some fans are like trying to gatekeep the shit, like who cares what the new fans think or whatever. But you gotta look at it. Capcom is just going back, redoing the whole series at this point and just modernizing it. And two, be fair, they have been knocking it out of the ballpark. RE2 remake is better than the original, and RE4 remake is better than the original, at least in my opinion. So these modernizations of Resident Evil have been on the money. I even like 3 more than I like the original, but to be fair, I don't like 3 as a whole to begin with, because Code Veronica X is low-key better in my opinion from what I remember. So it makes sense that Capcom is going to capitalize on the opportunity to make Resident Evil 1 more modern for a modern audience, because at the end of the day, as much as Capcom pays attention to the fan base, they do respect the fans' wishes or whatever. Money talks at the end of the day. If you remake RE1, it's going to sell like hotcakes, as old people say. So I'm definitely not surprised about RE1 getting a remake. My main concern is, when the fuck is Code Veronica X going to be remade? Because we have been screaming from the top of our lungs that Code Veronica needs a remake, and it's kind of falling on deaf ears with Capcom. Now, Capcom could be working on it right now and just keeping it under wraps, but I'm very intrigued on the future of Resident Evil, and I wonder what else is going to come with it. Now, at the beginning of the video, I did say Resident Evil 0 is going to be alongside with RE1. I think it's going to be DLC. I'm actually going to make another video on that. I don't want to get too in deep with that, but best believe Capcom has something special for the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil. But I'm loving the information that they put out. It sounds like this game is going to be an absolute banger. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Do y'all want another remake for Resident Evil? What are y'all expecting? What would y'all want added to the game? What would y'all want stripped from the original Resident Evil game? Thank you guys for all the love and support on this channel. It's greatly appreciated. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.